Today, we're going to talk about how money can take you places that women can't, but women can take you places that money can't. And I really want to talk about how you can actually leverage women ethically to get what you want financially. Um, and this is not going to be something about OnlyFans management or anything like that. I just like to talk about different things that have made me successful so I can help you guys. I do not make money from free content. I make money from ads and getting clients through that. This is just for people to understand how I think and what's made me successful. What you're seeing on the screen here is what I've made in July so far. So $123,000 in July. And keep in mind, this is just like what's hitting my bank account, not investments in crypto, in my trading accounts, so on and so forth. Um, so with that said, and if you think that's not really my account, let's go up. Dasani Consulting Group LLC. This is not AI. We can go to June and see June. So obviously, heading in the right direction. Okay, so let's talk about the point of this video. Money can get you into doors, right? But women can get you into doors that money can't. And what I mean by that is when I was just kind of on my come up, um, I didn't have money, but I wanted to be in rooms with people that did. And what I did have was a really good skill set, which was being able to communicate with women at a high level. So, for those of you that have been following me for a long time, you know that I have a background in dating coaching, something that I was very passionate about for a long time. And now a lot of my dating clients that have been successful are my trading clients as well and my investment clients. So, going back to the point, and this is really hard, guys, to do without a script. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm kind of just going off the dome and figuring it out as I go. This is a new skill set that I'm working on, right? Sitting in front of the camera and talking. So you guys are probably bored to death already, but who cares? Um, yeah, but basically, I used to go to clubs with a lot of hot girls and just stand around tables that I couldn't afford and just kind of be in GA. And men would eventually notice me and they would talk to the women that I was with. And because those men wanted to sleep with those women, they would then allow me in their section as well. And that's how I was able to originally start connecting with men that were a lot richer than me, a lot more powerful than me, had a lot more status than me in my area. And that's how I was able to learn from people that were out of my league. Okay. Realistically, if I had gone to that club alone, no men would have cared. And I could have been like, hey, man, here's $1,000 to like get in your section. Well, that's $1,000 that I didn't have at that time. And that probably also wouldn't have worked. It would have looked really lame. And they would have been like, yeah, bro, like we're good. No worries. But women are powerful, guys. And that's why what I learned even back in my dating coaching days is that a lot of guys wanted the girls that I had in my life, but thought they could buy their way to those girls. And you see a lot of guys with money with hot girls, but there's a lot of guys with money, actually, more guys, significantly more guys with money that cannot get girls at all, let alone hot girls. Now, why is that? It's because women are not turned on by what they see, they're turned on by what they hear. Okay. And that doesn't mean you should lie and manipulate women. That means you should learn how to communicate with women in a way that is attractive to them. So then you can not only enjoy experiences with them, whether it's short term dating, whether it's a long term relationship like I have now, but ultimately, once again, what's the point of this video? Leverage them to get what you want in life, business wise. Why would a woman that fucks with me not want to come to a club and be around other rich men? Why not? Of course she does, right? So it's a win-win for everybody if you use this mindset. Okay. Now, going back to what I just said, women are turned on by what they hear, not by what they see. Okay. So the guy that is solely focused on making a lot of money and fitness will not beat me with women. Here's why. Because I have tested this. When I was making 80 grand a year, which 7 years ago was actually not terrible. Or 7 years, 8 years ago. I was 22. I'm 30 now. So 8 years ago, when I was making 80 grand a year, eventually 120 grand a year at my job, that was actually really good money for back then. But I lived in San Francisco, so I did not appear rich at all. Like I was basically like living on a lady's living room couch, walking to work every day, and like not struggling to pay rent, but you cannot be rich in San Francisco on 120 grand a year, even back then. Um, and my way of meeting women, because I didn't know anybody in the city, I just moved to San Francisco. For those not from California, we call San Francisco the city. So if I say the city, that's what I mean. I was not forced, but like the way I met women was cold approach, like in Starbucks, at the gym, on the street. And like that's the hard way, right? Like there's a better way now that we can talk about. But that's not the point of this video, so I'm going to hold off on that. Cold approach made me a fucking man. It made me go from getting literally ignored to the point where like the woman didn't even see I existed. Like I would like approach and like she wouldn't even hear me, bro. Like I wasn't even up for consideration. And it wasn't because I wasn't rich. It wasn't because I didn't look good. It was because I was so unconfident in myself that I couldn't approach her confidently and she didn't care. Eventually, I started to not give a fuck at all and pretend to be somebody that I didn't feel like I was inside until I actually became that person I wanted to be. Then women started to respect my authority. If you've heard the South Park line, Cartman used to say, "Respect my authority." That's not what I mean, but what I mean is they respected my conversational skills and they were attracted to my conversational skills and they were attracted to my confidence, my charisma, my personality, my charm, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And bottom line, after I had so many interactions with women, I realized I was like at a certain level. I'm like, okay, I can consistently date what I would consider a 7 or 8. And I sometimes can get those women that I consider a 9 or a 10, but not consistently enough. So now I'm stuck at a level. And I realized what then got me to the next level was relative social status on top of cold approach, which means being able to build a brand, like a personal brand. I'm not even talking about business related, like just a brand of who Cam Dasani is as a person on Instagram for women to see who I am, and then host events, bringing a lot of people together and being the man of the hour and having access to women that you would never have access to otherwise, right? That's what comes from that. And the best way to do that today, just to plug Brian real quick, New City Mastery. He taught me how to do that. He taught me how to host those events. Now I have a girlfriend that I've been with for 3 years that I'm going to marry. And it's literally because of his system and the skills that I had learned before. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Meaning cold approach skills. The point is, a lot of guys will talk about, oh, well, I don't want to focus on dating. Why? Do you understand that focusing on dating is why I'm rich today? Because I have so much confidence to make decisions because I literally have slept with, respectfully to my girlfriend, real quick. She's probably going to hate this if she sees this, but I have slept with some of the most beautiful women on earth. Why? Before I was rich, when I was making 120 grand a year. Now I make, as you can see, should we go back? July? More in a month, and the month isn't even over, than I did in a year, 8 years later. Okay. Now you may think that's a long time, Cam. I want to get rich overnight. Okay. Well, understand that I went from 120 to 250 to 500. I got here with time and progression. Okay. I lost my train of thought though. What was I talking about? People don't want to focus on dating. Yeah. Well, if you don't focus on dating, you will just be a lame guy with money. And maybe you're also in shape, but you don't have the social life, dating life, or friends that you want because you can't communicate with people, right? The skills that I'm telling you that I had before I had money is what made me money. not the other way around. I didn't just grind, 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 focus on money, and then the rest will come. Well, then how come there's so many lame rich people then? People with money at a club with a bunch of bottles of Clase Azul that they overpaid for, and they can't pull a girl to save their life. They need a guy like me around them. I used to hang out with people that used to look at me like, Cam, aren't you going to go approach her? Meaning like they couldn't do it. They all had money too. I had guys when I was in corporate, I was walking up to girls on the street in San Francisco, and they were like, how the fuck did you do that? You know why? Because they've been wanting to do that for their entire life. That is a superpower that I have. That's not me being cocky. That's telling you the truth so you can understand what matters. And the truth is, it all fucking matters. The point is, don't put shit off. You don't need to do things in steps in the level that you think. I don't want to do this. It's uncomfortable. Okay, well, stay fucking where you're at then. You have two options. The reason why God set up the world to be this way is so people like me win because we make fast decisions and we take action simultaneously. I work out every day. I eat 200 grams of protein. I work on my business. I get my 10,000 steps in. And when I was single, I was approaching women and hosting events. And now I'm putting energy and water into my relationship with my girl that I'm going to marry, right? Why can't you do it all? Because you're a bitch? What's the real reason? Until you can answer that, you don't have my respect. Either way, this isn't so you work with me. I don't really have a purpose for this video. I just wanted to let you guys know how I've made it and document my journey and share my thoughts so you guys understand how I think and why I'm where I'm at. This is why I make $123,000 in a month and you make $123,000 in a year, because you do not take action quickly. You do not make calculated decisions quickly. You do not do things at the level that you should. The end.